One, two, one, two.
Welcome to the webinar. You have entered as an organizer and may now speak to any other organizers or panelists on the line. When you are ready to begin the presentation, press the Start Broadcast button on the GoToWebinar control panel to allow all attendees to hear you. This system will notify you once you begin your broadcast.
Okay, check one, two, one, two. Check one.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Okay, hey, welcome everyone. Let me know if you can hear my voice. Give me a heads up, please, that you can hear me. Okay, TJ is saying yes. Let me see if my webcam is working. So it's not working in my regular software, but I'll bet it's working inside of my GoToWebinar. No, I'm not seeing a working webinar. My webcam is not working. That's crazy. I should have rebooted my computer. Anyway, no big deal. So you're not going to be able to see me, but you can hear me. And I'm excited. This is our last day of the challenge, and it's our graduation as well as some extra education. And I want to thank everybody for spending time with us. It's a big commitment to spend, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours with somebody. I'd say we've already done about 6 hours of education, and it's been a great challenge. So I want to thank everybody for spending the time with us. It's really a pleasure to do this. So I wanted to go over a couple of things before we get to another part of our presentation, and Eric's going to come and also make a presentation. But I wanted to talk a little bit about, before I show you some new things, some other things about the Magnet 2.0, I just wanted to go over some important things. You should always start your day. I think you should always start your day the same way. So what I do is I start my day by completely rebooting everything. I shut my computer down, I reboot my cable modem, reboot my computer, and then I go to the website time.is and I check my time sync. And that's time sync is really one of the most important things that we do, right? So go to the website time.is, and that's all you have to do is type time.is. It will check for you if your computer is in sync. And the reason this is so important is because if your computer is not in sync, just don't forget, we're trading on a schedule. And some of the scheduled events that we trade, they come out to the nanosecond. So if your computer's 5 seconds or 10 seconds or 15 seconds out of sync, it could ruin your trade. You could actually have a losing trade because your computer's 2 seconds ahead or 2 seconds behind, because it'll put the orders on the chart at the wrong time. If you're behind, it might not put the orders on until the news is over. So it's very important to make sure that your computer is in sync. And we do include, we sent you a PDF with special tools so that if you're not in sync, you can put your computer in sync using a tool called Dimension 4. And it looks just like this little screen. I know it's small, but I can't make it bigger. It's just a crazy thing about Dimension 4. But up in the upper right, it has a Sync Now button. It's just a simple exe file that you install on your computer, and you just press the Sync Now button 3 or 4 times. And while you're pressing the Sync Now button, you watch the synchronized line at the bottom. And as long as the synchronized time changes, then what happens is there's these locations, these URLs, these servers, and they are changeable. You can change them, but you sync to one of the servers, and you can use the default server. Just sync now, the synchronized line will change, and then back in a fresh browser, you go back to time.is and double check your sync. You don't want to use the same open browser. Go to a fresh browser. And that will put 99 out of 100 times, that will put your computer in sync. If it doesn't work, no big deal. Just do it again, okay? And if it doesn't work, do it 3 times. It will. I've never had an instance where someone could not get their computer in sync. Then what I do to continue my day, I make sure I'm in sync. And then don't forget the calendars. I go through the various calendars. First thing I check is Forex Factory. forexfactory.com. Make sure you click the word calendar, and I just go through the news of the day. I go to the day we're at, and I look and see, well, what happened overseas? What happened early in the morning? What happened, maybe even yesterday I'll look. And I'm also looking because of the government shutdown, news is inconsistent in what's showing up on the calendars, and the calendars have had some corrections. So I'm double checking to make sure the reports we expect are still planned, and I'm looking at what happened overnight. It gives you an idea of what the markets might be looking like when we get there. And I just go over all the news of the day and I check a couple of different calendars to do that. All right. And then, of course, I look at what's coming up. Do we have any DMMs for what's coming up? And obviously, I'm going to go through trade setups and get prepared. I'm going to put my charts on the instruments that we're getting ready to trade, right? If we're trading the oil open, then I'm going to get my charts on oil. And that's the way that I start my day. It's very important to have a process, go through the same process every day. And then there's one more step, and it's something that everybody should get in the habit. We have a document called the pre-trade checklist. And the pre-trade checklist is important. It's what you need to do before every trade, especially if you're new, okay? Especially if you're new. So you're going to put on a trade and, of course, check for the correct symbol. Are you trading the right instrument? Are you in the right time frame? Sometimes if you were doing research before the trade, you might be in an unusual time frame, a time frame you don't want to trade in. So make sure you're in the correct time frame. Now, our software, you can trade on any time frame. You can trade on any type of chart. You could trade on tick charts, you could trade on minute charts, second charts. It doesn't matter. The trades will still work. I like to trade. 30-second is my favorite. 1 minute charts I also like. And that's because using our ARS reversal system with the new magnet software, I want to be preferably 1 minute and or 30 seconds. Those are my two favorite charts for signals. I would say also the 5 minute chart is excellent for after reversal type trading signals. And I'll show you about some of the signals in a few minutes. Also, if you're trading cash, check margins. On many reports, brokers raise the margins, and that means you have to be careful how many contracts you're allowed to trade if you're a cash trader. That does not come up as meaningful if you're trading prop accounts. Then, of course, make sure the type of trade you've chosen is correct. And I'll show you again. Check your time sync. You can do that right on the pre-trade checklist. Are your stops and targets entered correctly? Check, label the trade. Everything that we go over in the trade room, we have on this pre-trade checklist. So that's a document that we give to everybody in our trade room. When you're in our trade room, there's a file folder, and in that file folder, we have a whole bunch of important files, lessons, tips that you can download. So members have these resources available to them, and they're easy. You don't have to download them. You don't have to wait for us to send everything to you. There are lots of files in our trade room file folder. So a lot of people don't even know that, and they've been members for ages. So that's important to know. All those we have a lot of resources. And I want to remind people too, don't forget our YouTube channel. There are so many resources on our YouTube channel. We post all our webinars, so all the education is on there. If there's a subject you're confused about, most probably you could find a webinar on the YouTube channel or a lesson. I have a whole bunch of lessons posted up there as well. So using our YouTube channel can be a very smart thing to do. So I want to talk again about Magnet 2.0. And I know that magnets can be a little bit daunting. It could be a little bit challenging to trade them. So I just want to go over a couple of things real quickly about magnets. Don't forget what a magnet is, all right? And you know what? I'm going to just show on the charts what I'm talking about, and I'll look at my slides on the side. So don't forget what a magnet is. Magnets are levels on the chart that the reason we call it a magnet, it's because the level on the chart that we call a magnet attracts price. Just like an item that is magnetized will get sucked into a real magnet, these levels on the chart attract price. And we set up a trade to get out of the trade very close to the magnet, just a couple of ticks before you get to it, or add a second position, and if you burst through the magnet, you could take advantage of explosions through the magnet or slow moves that go through the magnet. Look at what happened here. We're watching live gold right now. Gold tested the magnet. Why is this a test? Even though it looks like it didn't touch it, because it's less than 3 ticks away. Let's see if it is. Even if it isn't, that still qualifies as a test. Just looking at the chart, when you get super close to the high, that's the high of day, or the low of day, that's going to qualify as a test. One of the tools free in NinjaTrader that we like to use, right click the chart, turn on the crosshair, and then you can easily put your crosshair at the top of the wick, 8760, 88. So it was actually 4 ticks away. Normally, I consider 3 ticks a valid test. 4 ticks, it's good enough. Good enough for jazz, if you know what I mean. So, and what's interesting is there was a valid reversal signal. However, if the software is not set up to have 4 ticks away, it won't generate a signal. So you want to learn how to see and understand what might make a valid ARS signal. This is a valid ARS signal right here, and let me show you. So right on this spot right here, we have a valid ARS signal. Why is it valid? We have a test of the high of day, and we have a change in direction, and we have also a momentum bar, different color and lower than the previous momentum bar. The extra bonus is you also had a burst in volume. That's a bonus. That's like saying this is an even better signal if you didn't get a burst in volume. This is a signal that you would have had time to go short right here, right at the top of this candle. Now, I'm not saying this is a guaranteed winning trade, but at this moment in time, it's positive 8 ticks. Okay, at this moment in time, it's positive 8 ticks. It went a little bit further than that. It was probably looks like it was about 10 to 12 ticks. It's gold. Gold is $10 a tick. Now you've got a very nice positive trade. I'm calculating from the top of the second candle, giving time to get in, not getting in an impossible situation, but getting in later than most people would have gotten in. All 29 ticks already, and that was a great reversal signal. The software has a way to configure those signals, okay? And it has a way, obviously, it's going to show those signals. Now, sometimes with signals, you might get an incorrect signal. It just happens. We try to filter everything we can possibly filter, but sometimes it just doesn't work that way. It is conceivable. It is conceivable that a signal could have been generated in this area here. Let me see if I can show you the area that I'm talking about. In this area here, it's conceivable that a signal could have been given, but there's reasons why you might not have wanted to take it. And obviously, I'm not going to teach you everything about how we trade the magnet in this webinar, but be assured that in our class and in our trade room, we talk about why we wouldn't have taken that signal, even if you had your software configured for short and long signals. That was not a valid signal. It was in the midst of a price increase in gold, and it was one candle. I would recommend most probably setting your momentum bars at least to two. So if you get a signal, you won't get a signal unless you get two momentum bars of a different color. But that's another feature that Magnet 2.0 will have. When signals are generated, you can tell the software how many bars do you want to wait until the signal is generated. So again, I want to just talk about for a minute recognizing signals, because one of the biggest things that we're doing in this new magnet software is generating signals in a multitude of different ways. My favorite signal, what I believe to be the best signal in the world, is after the high or low is tested, the reversal after that is my favorite signal to trade. And I did explain in yesterday's webinar, one of the scary things about trading that signal is, what do you do in a situation like this if the market keeps going up, but it gives you a signal? Now, in this particular case, our software worked beautifully. The market went up, made a new high, made a new high. It just never really reversed. It kept making new highs, and then when the market did reverse at 11 o'clock this morning, we actually got a perfect signal. And that signal, and I'm just looking at a random chart. This is the first I've looked at this chart this morning. I have not been looking at gold. I didn't even know there was a signal there, and that's the truth. When you look at how much that moved with very little price action going against you, there was 91 possible ticks of profit on gold from that one signal. That's one of my favorite signals. So what created the signal? Gold was making, first of all, we had two trades here. We had a gold magnet trade. What's the magnet trade? What is it? Areas on the chart where people put their orders attract price. We wrote software that exits when it gets to that attracted level. That's a magnet. What are magnets? High of day, low of day, VWAP, pivots, okay? Fibonacci's. If you want to use EMAs, study the effects of the magnet software on the EMA you like. And if you notice that it's working as a magnet, then you can add that EMA using the custom level part of our software. You just type in the value that the EMA is sitting at, and that's going to be your exit, okay? It's going to put a line, for argument's sake. Let's say on this chart, the PP is your EMA, all right? Just make believe that that's your EMA. So you would put on your magnet trade, and I'll just turn off the trade I have going on now. You would open the software, all right? You have your gold magnet trade, and you're not going to do it high of day, low of day. You're going to do it custom level, and you would type in that value, the price. It's 43.70. So all I do is type in 43.70, okay? I can hit apply, hit OK, and when I now turn on the magnet, what's going to happen is I'm going to get a line at that area, okay? I'm going to get a line at that area, and that line is where the exit's going to be. But I can move that line now, and keep in mind that the movable line is where you're going to enter. But don't forget that where you typed in is where the trade is going to end. So the movable line, if it's a short, should be above the level. But here's the point. The point isn't so much that you have a movable line or that you have the PP. The point is any price level on the chart can be used as your custom magnet. Any price level, I'll say it again on the chart, can be used as your custom magnet. So that's a big part of the new version. And also, what the new version does is you can also target specific areas. So when we turn on the software, we have this new control panel, all right? And it's a completely different control panel. It's real time. So you can trade magnets and change what you're doing on the magnet in real time. So for instance, if I want to go high a day and I'm not inside the software, I could just turn on high of day and it puts the orders where they would be. You know, wherever the software is set inside, that's where the order is being put on the chart. Okay, so for instance, what I mean is when you install the software and you call it up, when you right click strategy, add the magnet to your chart, you have a setup, right? You have a high of day, low of day. You might have the settings are off because you're just looking at signals. You can do that. You can just look at signals, not even do magnets. But let's say you're on high of day, low of day when you set it up. You have a target, you have a proximity. The proximity only does one thing. It just puts your order entry line on the chart. Don't worry about the number in proximity. Just leave it at default. It's always going to put an order entry line on the chart. So let me show you what I mean. So when we make, let's assume you're coming in, you're looking at gold, gold's near the high of day. What the heck? Let's trade the high of day magnet. So you put it on high of day, low of day. You don't need to do anything else. Leave it one position. It's already got a target. You might have to just put your stop in, put a 30 stop in, right? Apply it and okay it. That's the setup that's inside the software. So if you're activating the magnet and you're interested in trading high of day, low of day, okay, and here's the low of day down here, you might want to move your order entry a little bit further away so you make some profit. But here's our order entry. If the market goes back up to test the high and it blows through that level, it'll take you into the magnet. So the same thing is true if you use a custom level. And we can also target in the new software custom levels. Like the PP, for instance, you can change the high of day to custom level, target, and find the PP. Then your order entry line, if you're above the PP, you're going to do a short trade, right? So when the price goes down, it's going to target the PP as your exit, and your entry is controlled with the order entry line. All right? So all this new targeting is added into the new software, and you can do it in real time off of the control panel, and you can change the way you're doing. Let's say you're targeting the PP, and what happens exactly is what's happening now. The price starts to move up, and you really think that gold's going to go back and burst through the high of the day. You could turn off the custom level, turn back on high of day, low of day, turn on auto mode, and now if the price goes up and bursts through my heavy line, I'm going to take a trade to the high of the day. And I did all of that in real time without even going in and changing the software. Now, if you want to change your trade setup, obviously, there's time usually to go inside the software and change your trade setup. But there's also, first of all, let me stop for 1 second and answer any questions that we have. How much distance do you place between entry and magnet? So that's a great question. So there's no simple answer, Len, for what the proper distance should be between entry and a magnet. The key is how fast is the market moving? If the market's really bursting, then it almost doesn't matter where your order entry is because it's probably going to burst through it and go right to the high. If it's more like today where it's just chopping around, you know what I mean? There's certain things you want to think about. Was there a recent test of the magnet? And there was. There was a recent test only 20 minutes ago. That makes this upcoming magnet less interesting, less possible. The best magnets are magnets when the market hasn't been tested for a while, when the magnet hasn't been tested. I love if it's a couple of hours since the last magnet was tested. Now, I'm going to leave the auto mode on. Let's see if everything triggers. It should trigger if it bursts through that area. Now, if it didn't quite touch it, it won't.
Order
There it is.
submitted.
It triggered and it put our order 3 ticks away from the high of the day. That's what it means when it's -3 ticks offset. So to continue answering your question, because it's a very important question, so you have to look at a variety of different things. You're looking at the intensity of the trend, you're looking at the volume, you're looking at the speed of the market. At a minimum, if I'm trading gold, I want to be 13 ticks away from the magnet because I want to make $100 on a trade. Sometimes you can use price action, candles, and put your order right above the last high candle. In this case, you can't do it because there was recent tests of the high. But for instance, if we weren't in this trade, right? For instance, we're not in
Order
this
canceled.
magnet trade,
Order filled.
and you're looking, where might I put an order entry if I'm going to test the magnet here? So if I turn the magnet on, if I look at this price action, here's where I would consider what I think is a sensible place. If we break this 86 level again, that might be a very good place to put our order. Maybe right above the highest candle before we got here. Okay? So that's what I mean when I say I'm looking at price action to put my orders on the chart. That's a pretty good example of where I might place my order entry. If the candles haven't gone quite as far, I might move my order down a little to get some extra profit. Or if it's a magnet that hasn't been tested in a while and I really feel that the trend is up, then I'll add that second position and either do 2 contracts for the same exit, or I'll add that second contract, and if price blows through the magnet, I'll take advantage of that by configuring the software, making target 2, maybe you make it 15. So instead of being -3 like the first target, maybe I'll make it 15, right? So 15 ticks as it bursts through the magnet, 15 ticks. It's now going to give me an exit at -3, 3 ticks before it gets to the magnet, and it's going to give me a second order up here, and it's going to exit 15 ticks. So that's how I think about it. Stops are a whole different game. Where do you put your stops? So if I'm trading micros, my stops are going to be below any current activity that has recently taken place. So if I'm trading micros, my stop on this magnet is way bigger than a normal stop that would use on a regular trade. And it's because I love giving magnets plenty of room. My stop would be in this area because this is where all the upward activity of late, of the past half hour or so, started. So I want to be below that area as a stop. In truth, if you really look at this chart, if you take a good look at this chart, it's a tough one. This is a tricky one because Really, a lot of upward movement was down here, but that's too big of a stop. If you want to be very safe, this is an interesting spot under the very recent consolidation. That's not a bad stop. That's not a bad stop. I like right here. This gives me a lot of room to breathe. It's micros. You're not going to blow up your account, but you're going to have enough room to breathe if the price goes up and down. You know what I'm saying, okay? So that's how I think about putting my stops. I try to use price levels. I try to use intelligent places to put stops. Now, another thing just about understanding the signals. What do I look at again to determine if I'm going to take a signal? So my main signal is the squeeze. I'm always looking at the squeeze. But we look at the squeeze earlier than most people look at the squeeze. Most people take the squeeze here. All right? Most people say, hey, this is a long squeeze. This is where I'm going to take it. And they like the squeeze right here. That's their squeeze signal. Okay? I don't particularly think that's the best signal. I like earlier than that. Is it riskier? Yeah, maybe it's riskier. I want to take the first colored bar that changes momentum. Maybe the second one. Look, the magnet trade just was a winner. Okay, a winner. If it's not a micro, then that's up to you, Leonard. You got to make a decision how much money you're willing to risk on a trade. How much money do you have in your account? Is it a funded account? Is it a cash account? There's no perfect answer for how big your stop should be. I personally think you're going to give yourself a better opportunity for a winning trade if you use the charts to determine the stop. But sometimes, just because of risk, you're going to take a random stop. Maybe you'll take a 20-tick random stop because that's $200 on gold. That's a lot of money for most people. That's not unreasonable either. But I believe the best stops are using the price action and the market to tell you what's going to give you the best chance. Sometimes a random stop, it's just that. It's random. It doesn't give you the best chance. Okay, because it gets broken randomly. That's the issue. When you use support and resistance for your stops, then you have a better chance of surviving a trade. So that's what I mean when I say use the chart. Use support and resistance if you've got some. Sometimes you're in the middle of nowhere. You don't have many levels on the chart, and that's when it's more popular to use a random stop. But signals, I love the first or second change in bar color on the squeeze. Those are my favorite signals, especially if it's accompanied by high volume. When you get those volume bursts, those give you a good idea when you can get into a trade. Now, with the magnet software, when I'm using magnets, there's another setup I always have on my chart. I always have this setup on my chart every trade I take anyway. I want the reverse continuation setup on my chart. Why? So I like to use the magnet sometimes and not trade the magnet, but just use it to give me ideas and signals. Look, we just had a signal to go short. So if I have the reverse continue on my chart, I could take that short when that signal shows up. Now, when I'm done with the software, and it's part of this new version, when the signal shows up, you will be able to press a button in the control panel to enter. You won't have to use the reverse continue. But I want the reverse continuation on every chart, no matter what, because it's so easy to use, it's so easy to set up, and it always allows you to enter a trade when there's an opportunity on the chart. Why would you not put it on your chart if it gives you opportunities? You don't have to use it if you're not using it. It doesn't hurt you in any way. So put it on every chart. Look how the squeeze is working in our favor. Price is working in our favor. We got another really good signal to go short. How do you know it was a good signal? Gold is kind of, it's kind of not that busy today. It's not explosive. So you're not getting high after high after high at this time of the day. We're starting to get later in the day. I think it's going to get quieter until you get right to the close. Gold in general gets quieter in the afternoon also. Gold is much more volatile before 1 o'clock than it is as you get after one. If you like magnets and you want to trade in the afternoon, I would move over to the ES, MNQ instruments that tend to move better in the afternoon. I like that for magnets. But don't forget, any instrument that you like to trade is perfect for a magnet. I could take any chart that I want, right? I was looking at the ES before I got here just to see what kind of signals we would get. And look, here are a couple of false signals. Why is this a false signal? It's right at the high. You only had one bar. We can set the software to 2 so that signal will not show up, okay? That's probably what makes the most sense to do. This signal here was actually a valid signal. There was a reversal. That I would absolutely consider a valid signal. It just wasn't very good. All right? The market only reversed 5 ticks. If you took that signal, you wouldn't necessarily be stopped, but you would not be in the best place at this moment because the market went back up and made another high. But let's say you took that signal, right? And you got in the market right there. Don't forget, use your crosshair. Shows you the price you got in. So let's say you got in on that second candle and you got short, right? At 68, let's say you got short at 68.89. The market has gone against you 2.25 points. And then it gave another signal. Now I'm definitely going to have a stop bigger than 2.25 points. So even if you got in on the first signal that wasn't the best one, or the second signal that wasn't the best one because it made another high, it gave another signal, and look, now we actually did get a decent reversal. Now remember, I'm not going to the best place to enter. I'm going to a place that you would have had time to enter after a bar after the first signal. And we got 17 ticks. You're not going to get rich on 17 ticks, but that's 4 ES points. Okay? That's 4 ES points. And yes, Len, the signals are part of Magnet 2.0. Absolutely. Okay? So now, look, if the market is going to start to go back up, you're going to get some indications that that's going to happen. All right? What are some of the indications that maybe if you were short, you should get out of your short? Look at the squeeze. I always use the squeeze to help me. The squeeze momentum changed right in this area here. You want to be thinking about exiting here. You don't have to. You didn't lose money yet, but certainly my mind is very concerned that we're going to change direction. So I am going to look at the squeeze. I'm going to look at the net change display. I'm going to look at the speed of the market. You know, right now this market's lunchtime. It's really just chopping around. It's not my favorite trading time to begin with, right? So you understand what I'm saying. You want to use all the normal common sense trading rules that you use all your life while you're trading. And then definitely I look at the squeeze. Now, if I see the momentum moving like this, I'm gone. I'm out of this trade. This trade, I'm going to take my 8 ticks of profit and wait for the next signal, wait for the magnet to really give me a good reversal. I'm not looking for longs here. Why am I not looking for longs? Because look what the market's doing. I'm not going to, if it continues going long, I'm probably not going to go with it because since 1218, it's been making new highs. okay? And it's getting ready to make another one. So I'm not chasing long here. I'm kind of going to wait for a good short reversal signal because I think that might give me my best opportunity for profit. Now, sometimes you'll exit a trade and it doesn't continue going up. It fakes you out. That's just part of trading and that's part of life, of course, right? So will there be special training? You know, Leonard, our special training is every single day we're teaching in the trade room. But I'm sure that I'll make a masterclass 2.0 video. And absolutely, we have a new manual for the Magna 2.0 also. So there will be some extra resources definitely for the new version
Lee,
because it's definitely got a
I'm
lot of new stuff. Okay, folks, I hear Eric in the background. You ready to go, Eric?
well, I don't want to just cut you off like that.
No,
I
I was
just
pretty much that's what I wanted to cover.
got your attention.
I wanted
Order
to just
filled.
talk about the signals. So I was pretty much where I wanted to go. So folks,
Okay.
I wanted to thank you for listening to me for all these days. And I'm going to turn the webinar over to Eric. I'm going to stick around, of course. And Eric's got some stuff he wants to talk to you about.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you very much, Lee.
All right, I'll
Um,
give you the. You want me to give you the charts, or are you going to just take them?
yeah, sure. I got it.
Okay. My
Thank you so much.
webcam's not working for some reason, so I
Just
can't show you my
no,
face.
no, you're good. You're good. You're good, Lee. Um, let's see here. All right. Well, good afternoon, folks. We have folks from all around the world. I forget who the host is, but good morning, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Um, Welcome, everyone. I know that Lee just delivered a very powerful 40 minutes of a recap of all the 3D challenge. So let me just start off by asking, how was the challenge? Let me know from 1 to 10, how 1 to 10 being it was amazing, 1 to 10. Let me know how the last 3 days in the chat. I want to get feedback for everyone. I appreciate you giving me a second here as I get set up here. All right. Lee, can you see my screen okay?
Yes, and I can hear you fine.
Okay, perfect. And I definitely want to get more feedback from everyone. So just go ahead, guys. I'm just trying to, we went from a very technical presentation, not so technical, but to really, I want to have some fun and engage with everyone. So let me know 1 to 10. 10, Lee did a great job in the chat right now. How did it go? Okay, actually, I wasn't seeing. Okay, awesome. So thank you very much, Arthur. Lee, thank you. Totally awesome sessions. Ray, good information. Lee, amazing. Joe, TJ, Ray, Alan, wow, really great feedback. And I'll tell you something. I have a slide deck. Lee and I, we like to keep things professional, but I want to change things up a little bit, right? Lee, you're still with me. You went over how to win the challenge with everybody.
No, I didn't. I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't really get into it, so you could do
Okay.
it.
All right. So stick with me for a second, Lee. Okay.
Yeah, I'm
But I
here.
promise I'm gonna do something a little different. Just give me 1 second. And appreciate your patience. Thanks, everybody. I have a great story that I'm going to share with you guys. Just 1 second. There we go. And I'm sharing my camera. There we go. Now we're talking. All right. So Lee, I'm here. I want to thank everyone very much for all your tremendous feedback. This was our second challenge of 2025, right? We've only did 2 challenges this year, right? And the reason why is we want to make sure that they're more impactful. And when we deliver a challenge, we want to make sure that we blow it out of the park with value. So I really want to say thank you so much. And for all of you, and I really want to just tell you that in case you're wondering how long I'm going to go, I'm not going to go longer than 20 minutes. Okay. So all I ask is for 20 minutes of your time, and I really would appreciate it. Okay. So you did the hard work. You showed up live. How do you win the challenge, right? So Lee covered the key takeaways, right? And maybe we'll do that a little bit at the end as well. But in shortly, right, we covered all of our brand new software. This was the software challenge, right? So we went over the JVB version 11 use trader, the new Magnet Trade software, our Trap Trade software, our Rain Trade software. What did I leave out, Lee?
That's pretty much everything we covered. All the the setups.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty cool, pretty cool. 3 days, right? Just to show you, we basically gave you the tools that we use here at 10-minute trades. And the whole beautiful thing about today, I'm not for 20 minutes. There's no hard selling or selling rather, really, because really what the next 20 minutes, first I'm going to teach you how to win the challenge, right? Which you definitely want to stick around for, right? Because we're giving away lifetime access to, we're giving away thousands of dollars of value right there. We're giving away a one per luck. Was it 3 folks, Lee, that are going to win JVB software,
Two.
Magnet software, and
Two.
Trap, or 2,
We
right?
got two.
Okay, perfect. And and I'm telling you, we have 250 people that have signed up for the challenge, and on the call right now is a much smaller group, right? So you have a very fair shot of winning the challenge. So all you got to do just to get to it, right, is and Roz, thank you very much. I think Roz sent the video in already. You got to join our WhatsApp group, okay? We have a WhatsApp group for the challenge. You just make a 3 to 5 minute video and tell us about what you enjoyed most about the challenge. Describe how the challenge helped you. Talk about your personal journey. You know, even send us an audio note if you're really camera shy, okay? But you have to submit it into the WhatsApp group, and you got to get it in before Sunday at midnight. And if for some reason you're really camera shy or really don't want to see everyone in the group, you could personally message me or Lee, okay? You could see and you could personally reach out to us. Lee, did I explain that decent enough?
Yes, that's pretty clear.
You sure? Okay. All right. So if that's the case, get your videos in because it's not about whose video is the best. It's about getting them in, and we want to make some fun. So it's really going to be also partially on partially a raffle, right? But you got to get in. You got to get your videos in. We're not. It's not a judging contest of who we think has the best video. So we're switching it up for the holiday spirit. Okay. Now look, I know that this challenge here has a combination of people that don't even know me, people who maybe Eric. I feel like this presentation about how to make more money in 10 minutes a day, right? And then you have people that who did this challenge who are true veterans, right? You know, really wanted to take advantage of the lifetime software access, right? So I want to switch things up a little bit, but I have to just make sure I go through the quick risk disclosures, right? So let me just make sure, not to make you dizzy here, right? But want to make it very clear here, right? Here, 10-minute trades, we are an educational company, right? We all the information we provide is for education purposes. Lee probably covered that. And then some of the stuff I'm going to talk to you about in my story, which is what I'm going to share with you, right? I want to make sure that my success, right, and members making a lot of money, it's not typical, right? And there's a reason why a lot of people never trade, right? And there's also a reason why a lot of traders don't make money at all, right? So I want to make it very clear that trading is risky, right? So no matter what, understand you never want to trade with money you can't afford to lose, right? So we're into the challenge. There's only going to be 2 winners. So what about the rest of us, right? What about folks that say, you know what? I really, you opened the door to me, Lee, right? And showing me how I can use your tools, how I could actually make money in the market, right? Because really, if we just take a step back for a second, and Lee, give me feedback because I have my video and the screen. Is it looking good on your end, having both? Is that
I'm
okay?
not seeing your webcam. Is anybody seeing it?
Oh, yeah. Well, good that I asked. Good.
But it's strange. I couldn't get my webcam working this morning either.
No. People could see me now. Can you see me now?
Oh,
Yes.
that's funny. They're seeing you. I'm not. Okay.
Yeah. It's fine. Okay, perfect. Let me know because I really want to speak to you directly. I didn't know it would be better to have both the slides or not. But for this one here, I'm gonna pause. Yeah, it's okay. I'll have both on. Yeah. So thanks everyone. So what I was sharing with everybody is that the whole part of the challenge, right, is to show you what's possible, right? And you actually took action steps. And now here you are. And so how do I continue, right? And I'm going to get to the opportunity in a second here, but I want to start off with my own journey here. Okay, Lee and I, we're not posers, right? I'm not releasing or going to go to like a beautiful office in Miami to, to pretend to be somebody. I'm in my home. I'm in my home office. I live in Parkland, Florida. It is an affluent area here in South Florida, right? Anything in South Florida these days is pretty expensive. But next to me, my neighbors, it's a very successful area. One of my neighbors next to me works for Apple. I have a CFA down the block, doctors, etc. But basically, part my journey in getting here and being able to tap into this, to get to this neighborhood, right? Not claiming to be multi-millionaire, none of that, right? But just being able to move into a really nice area, raise a family, etc. It all started through my desire to wanting to make money online, and that's the honest truth. It wasn't that I had a burning desire to trade. And I said I'll keep it under 20 minutes, so I'll make this story short and sweet. And this is really powerful, right? My journey was that I went to school for accounting, right? I'm in my late 30s. All right, I'm in my late 30s. Maybe with the grays, maybe I could, probably thought I'm in my 40s. But I always had a desire to wanting to make money online and to trade as well. I had roommates in college that had plenty of money and they were trading stocks, etc. The short story is that I somehow lucked out in finding a really awesome educational course about futures trading, right? And that's really, it was learning how to make money online, etc. It led me to futures trading, and I took it very seriously. I really did. And so when I graduated school, I worked for a large CPA firm in New York City, and I was burned out working 80-hour weeks. And on that journey, I had something that I was looking forward to, trading futures, right? The story is that even though I didn't know much, right? At one point, I made a decision to myself, and this is really the main part of the story. And this is back to when I had a demo account with NinjaTrader, right? I said to myself, Eric, go ahead and if you want to learn this stuff, right? Go ahead and buy a lifetime license of NinjaTrader. And that, and at the time, I don't remember how much it was. It probably is similar to what it was today. And I did it. Even though I didn't have a funded account, right? I was still trading on Sim, but I did it. And when I did do that, right, psychologically, I made a commitment to say, you know what? I'm still figuring this out, but I'm committing myself that I'm going to figure this out no matter what, whatever it takes. And honestly, I really feel that in my journey as a trader, that making that investment and buying a lifetime license NinjaTrader was what forced me to never give up and to really learn. And then for some of you know my story, right? The story is that I learned with Jay and how to trade online. Excuse me, how to trade our JVB style of news trading. And I opened up a $2,000 account. I think it was like 2,300, and I was able to turn it into 20,000 in just a few months, right? Took some big risks, right? I was in my early 20s, and through those profits, I was wise enough not to just take that money and flash it, right? Instead, what I did was I invested in it, and through those investments, that's really what helped me get a head start in life, right? And I bought my first house when I was 27 years old, and I think that's 3 years ahead of the curve. And honestly, there's kids today. When I say kids, I was catching up with one of my buddies, also my same age as me. And there's some folks that won't buy their house even until their 40s with how crazy interest rates are, etc. Right? But I want to tell you that this is the tool that I use to make to do something beyond just making ends meet, right? And it's a powerful tool, right? And so today and this week, Lee showed you what's possible. You proved it to yourself. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you what the Lifetime Software Access, the package that we put together for everybody. Okay. So that's my short, sweetest, my story. And I will tell you that um, making the commitment to Lifetime, I think about times in my own life. Like, for example, I have many hobbies. I play pickleball now, right? I play pickleball and I play tennis and volleyball. But I remember when I was living in Brooklyn in Park Slope, I wanted to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And I spoke to the owner, right? And he said, we don't do trials, or we don't do 30 days. And I explained to him, listen, I don't want to do a commitment like 3 month or 6 month, whatever it was, plan, because I don't know if I'll be able to use it, because I just have a very busy job, etc. And he told me, so I'm sorry, and but you have to make the pledge or commitment. And it's the same thing with here, and it's true. If you think about it in your own life, just take a moment to think about some of the things that you learned in life, like whether it's picking up an instrument, right? There was a point in whatever that journey was. I know Lee's a great piano player, where you made a commitment to say, I'm going to learn this no matter what. So that's what I want you to take away. I want, when I go over, and I'm going to fast forward. Just hang on, I'm going to pause this so that you don't get busy, right? I'm going to scroll over here. Okay, perfect. To show you basically what we're doing over here to close off our challenge here, right? Keep in mind that same philosophy of making making a commitment by investing in Lifetime Software Access. Okay, so here we are. We're at the end of the challenge, right? And I want to thank you again. And here is our NewsTrader version 11 Lifetime Software package, if you will. And here's what it entails, okay? Number one, first and foremost, is our Lifetime JV Software version 11 NewsTrader, okay? What I didn't tell Lee is that what we're putting together is something that you're not going to see again for a very long time. In fact, I want to cap the Lifetime Software Accesses, and I think we have a few from a long time ago when we were just starting out, and this is the first time in over 10 years that we're reopening it. Okay, very few times that we do it. I want to cap it to, I want to say 50. Okay, and I think we already have 20 of the 50 spots. Okay, so I think there's about 30 spots taken. I'm going to check our machine ID log. So bonus number one is our $3,000 value JV version 11 software. Now look, remember, we have folks that are on subscription plans, etc. And you know what? That's fine. You're going to see the price of all this in a second here. But with the Lifetime access, right? You're making the commitment to say, I'm gonna figure this out. So that's number one. Bonus number one is our Lifetime Software Access for the JVP. Number two, and I just combined it to make it simple, is our TrapTrade and MagnaTrade software. Those are two separate softwares. That's a $39.94 value, lifetime access. So bonus one and two is really what we focused on, right? And right there, that's really it. That's the meat and potatoes, right? But because we want to make sure that this is a no-brainer, got to take advantage of this, we're going to be throwing in 7 more bonuses, right? So I think Lee talked about it. We already have an appointment-based trading masterclass that's recorded and on demand. So that means that if you wanted to learn about the MagnaTrade software or about the JV software, we already have a 1 or 2 hour session that you could watch during the holidays at your leisure and go step by step. Okay, so that's bonus number 3. That's a $1,000 value. Bonus number 4 is our 10-minute trades quick start. Eric, great. I don't have time for a 2-minute class. I just want a quick start. We created a quick start in our members area that has short videos to help you get through all this stuff, okay? Number 5 is our 6 months of our Pro Trader Access. So, the software is great, but to me, the most important thing on top of that is our trade room with Lee, who will show you how to set up the trade, right? So really, you want to make sure that you're in the trade room. And so you know what? If you're investing in Lifetime, we're going to hook you up with 6 months of our Pro Trader Access. That's a $1,182 value. Let's say you don't have time to go in the trade room, right? You're kind of like what I did when early days, where I'm sneaking in the trade at work time, right? Well, you're going to need those DMMs. Those are our daily market movers. Those are the PDF reports that we send out 24 hours in advance. Let me slow down. 24 hours in advance that give you the exact settings to put into the software. Okay. So if you don't have the ability, even though no matter what, I highly recommend you always have the trade room in the background. But if you, for some reason, you were limited and you couldn't, you have the DMMs and you have the software, you're good to rock and roll. Number 7, every year we always do special workshops or events, and you're going to get a VIP ticket to a live virtual event next year. Okay, we do earnings trade workshops. I sometimes will do specialty classes, and you know what? Let me just make a commitment to this one. I'm going to be doing an AI, right? Because I want to make sure that I provide a lot of value to all of our 10-minute trades community. I want to teach you what I know about AI, and because I've been on this journey before. Everyone's been on the ChatGPT this past year. I think it's when a lot of folks open up their eyes. So I'm going to be doing an AI mastery course and showing you how I use AI to simplify life. Okay, and that's something that you're going to get a free ticket to, and I'm going to do that in January. Okay, it's going to be awesome. Number 8, family money trade workshops. Family money trades, I'm sure Lee talked about it at one point during the challenge. Those are our best trades. And by the way, I know I'm not screaming or shouting. I'm just talking to you just normally, because I want to make sure that you know the energy that I'm sharing right now, it's real talk. It's no hype, no hype or BS. It's really just straight talk, right? The family money trades are our best performing trades. And my 2 cents in how I made the 2K to 20K is focusing on those trades. So for those trades, I'm going to ask Lee to do longer trade room sessions to make sure that you really have a focus on those. Okay, and we call them the family money trades workshops. They'll be inside of our pro trade room. All right, number 9, our trade earning workshops. Forgive me, it should say 2026, right? It's gonna we're gonna have our workshops for 2026. That by itself is worth the price of the what I'm gonna share with you in just a second. Okay, those are huge. Okay, so the total value, okay, of everything I shared right now is $17,822, right? And here's the good news: you're not gonna pay anything close to that, right? So you have 9 bonuses. I'm throwing in a 10th bonus, our 10-minute trades membership area that has basically a really neat members area that has our DMMs, training videos, software download access, everything in one area here. Okay, that's another $1,000 value. Okay, so $18,919. Okay, and really look in yellow. That's really what I think most of you are interested in, and we're throwing in another 8 bonuses. For the first time in a very, very long time, you can get lifetime access and be one of the 30 folks, the 30 spots that we're going to make available through this promotion. Okay, I had a few slides here. Okay, let me fast forward. $597. Okay, to get started for a 3 payment plan. Okay, so you can get lifetime software access to the JOBB, the Trap Trade and Magnet Trade software, and 8 bonuses for $907 today. It's a 3 payment plan, so it would be $597 today, and then it would be $597 per month for the next additional 2 months. And just excuse me for 1 second. Started to get a little cough here, so excuse me. So that's pretty amazing, right? And Lee twisted my arm because I try to make it so that it's super affordable, right? There's also an additional payment option of $1,500 one time, right? But just to make sure that for folks who need a little bit of assistance in doing a payment plan, we threw in a payment plan option, okay? So www.10mdplus.com. I'm gonna ask Lee if you could put the long link in there as well, just in case it caches to another website. You know, if you could put the long link in there, Lee, I appreciate it. I'll put the short link in for now.
I'll get it.
Yeah, no problem. And listen, even though I know that the price point that we put in for this program is super reasonable, super fair, I'm still going to throw away. I'm still going to give 2 guarantees because I put myself in your shoes, and it's nice to know you have a guarantee. So guarantee number 1 is our bend over backwards guarantee, and number 2 is our 100% 3-month money back guarantee, action guarantee. Okay, so how it works is the bend over backwards guarantee, right? What it means is you put in the effort, you show us that you actually want to make this work, and guess what? We're going to help you, right? So if for some reason you get stuck and you actually go through educational videos, the platform that we're going to use is the trade room. Okay, that's going to be the platform where you can always get support no matter what. And if something that helps you, it can also help others. So that's our bend over backwards guarantee, that we're not going to leave you behind. The support's going to be there, and we'll even discuss it during our trade room if you're stuck. Okay, but you have to at least show effort. Okay, but we're going to help you out. Now, our 3-month money back action guarantee, it's not that complicated. What it is basically stay with us for 3 months. Okay, because let's be honest, if you're going to test this thing out, right, you need at least 90 days. Study the course, stay with us for 3 months, come into the trade room with us, trade at least 3 trades per week over the next 3 months. Okay, that's 9 days a month. Okay, and you could do it on prop or simulation, right? And even if it's prop or if it's sim, if you don't at least 3 times your investment by the end of 3 months, you'll show us the proof that you took action, right? And we'll give you 100% full refund of your investment in the lifetime plan. So to me, that's very reasonable, right? We're giving you the opportunity to test risk-free for 3 months to see for yourself, right? So you have no excuses left, right? Because you have nothing to lose. We're taking the risk on us because we know that if you actually apply, you're going to see for yourself, right? Just like we showed in the challenge, right? There's no hard selling, right? It's us giving you the opportunity to stick with us, and that's what we want to do. Okay, so $597 today. Go to 10mtplus.com. Okay, if you're a member already, it's still gonna benefit you because very, very few. It's really just from 2013 that maybe a few folks have lifetime. So you still want to take advantage. So you know who you are, the regulars, right? This is not just like something I'm talking about that's for the new people. This is for you too. It's a wise investment. Instead of paying whatever subscription you're on per year, just think about it. Even if, let's say, you're on $1,000 subscription a year, think about it. In 10 years, that's $10,000. For $1,500, you can make the one-time investment and have JBB in your hands for life. Okay, and that's why I'm capping it to 30, because we don't want everyone in the world to have it. It's just going to be a limited few. So look, I said 20 minutes, and I'm breaking my promise a little bit. So I'll skip through these options. I'll skip through all this stuff here, and I want to let you know that there's a deadline. Okay, there's a deadline. If someone needs there's a deadline of Christmas Eve. That's 12/24. Lee and I, we are also family men, and we also want to be able to enjoy the holidays. So we're going to follow up with a few emails here between now and Christmas Eve, right? With all the information, the recap of today's session. And on Monday, by the way, is when we're going to reveal the winners of the challenge. So you have till now and Sunday to submit the video in on the WhatsApp group. On Monday, we're going to do a little bit of a Q&A session for folks that are on the fence about this special opportunity. But on next Wednesday night is when this will close down. And once it's done for good, okay? And I'll just address some of the questions, okay? Number one is, no matter what subscription you're on right now, okay, we'll make sure when you buy, you just let us know, and we'll prorate it. So for example, if you have 6 months of trade room right now and you're buying our software, you're not gonna lose anything. It's just gonna be added on, okay? And Alan, I wish there was a lifetime access, but the thing is, Lee, can I make a sour joke? Well, look, Lee and I are not going to live forever, right? So that's why it's hard to put a lifetime access for a lifetime on the Pro Trade Room. It's hard for us to back that up. You know, we don't know if we could always have a trade room, but the software for sure we could give a lifetime to. So that's the reason why. And then in terms of if PayPal, link, I could definitely get a PayPal link if someone needs it, we could get that going. Not a problem, James. And so my question to you is this: if you're seriously considering doing a lifetime, okay, I just want to make sure, if you're seriously considering getting lifetime access, I want you to say yes in the chat room. Just write yes if you're seriously considering getting a lifetime access. Okay. Awesome, TJ. Awesome. Right. James, fantastic. Keep it going. Let's go. Wow. So Lee, that means you did a great job because I'm seeing a lot of yeses, and there's probably a couple of folks that are on the fence, and I understand that, but it's a no-brainer, and I know that, in my own story that I share with you, by you investing in a lifetime, what you're doing is you're saying, I'm going to figure this thing out, right? You're basically investing in yourself, and that's huge. So before all the last minute holiday shopping, invest in yourself. Know that in 2026 that you're looking to add another financial tool onto your tool belt, and I really commend you for that. So Lee, you heard my story. How do you want to close out? Because you did 99% of the work here. Any final words to help anybody that's on the fence to make a decision here?
Well, I think everybody really knows how I feel about the software. The software is like it's like my child. It's like something I've been working on since the day I got here. So I love the software. It's funny, we were talking in the trade room today. Calvin, one of our regulars, was saying, create an ATM so you could save time. And I tried to explain to him, I never looked at creating an ATM in Ninja. I just use our software because it takes me 30 seconds to create a template or to create a trade setup. So, I mean, for me, I love the software. I couldn't live without it. Even if I wasn't trading with us, I would want to use this software because I think it's a really good product. So I think our price is really fair. I see what other companies are offering for their offers, and I think it's a great deal, and it's something that I would do. So, I mean, I love the software, so I can't imagine not doing it.
Awesome, yeah, and this is something that Lee could tell you. He manages all of our machine ID activations. He has a special tab for lifetime, and that's back when I first joined the company. I didn't. Oh no, I just basically, it was a unique opportunity, to offer lifetime. So there's not too many. There's very few people that have that. So this is a rare opportunity. I wanted to, in full disclosure, this is something I'm doing for Lee, honestly, also because make no mistake about it, Lee's hard work, right? A lot of the monetary side, right? Money, etc. So I wanted to make a very lucrative opportunity for Lee, and so I thought this was a good opportunity. So it's also a way of supporting you, but also basically recognize it's going to help Lee as well. So it's a win-win for everybody, and you're going to be part of a very exclusive list of OGs, who have lifetime access. Not many folks will. So let me pause there. Thank you so much. Let me do a quick recap. Your homework today, take the credit card. No, I'm just kidding. Your homework today is, first of all, relax. It's Friday. Have a great weekend. Give yourself, if you're one of the folks, just let me know in the chat right now. I want to know if you're one of the folks that's on the call right now that was here in every session, and you were here for every single minute of the webinar, say me in the chat. Say me. I was here for every part of the challenge. Okay? Write me. All right? Just write it. Write me for all the folks. Okay? Honestly, Joe, TJ, kudos to you. Okay? Kudos to you. I want to thank you so much. Arthur, Alan. Okay? No worries, Ray. James, I want to thank you so much for really making this week a transformational week. a transformational week. Great job. You know, give yourself credit. Um, Sometimes we don't take advantage. Sometimes we don't, take the time to recognize you did the work. You showed up. You showed up. So I want all the me's out there. You're going to be getting me very upset if you don't come through the video, showing, because I want you to have a chance to win as well. So I want you to make the video, post it on WhatsApp, make it personable. I want to see your face in the camera. Talk to the camera. Tell us about your experience with the challenge. Hopefully it was a positive one. Keep it real, keep it authentic. And then on Monday, what time do we come back on Monday, Lee?
Noon.
12?
12.
12 noon, we're going to come back. It's going to be party time, right? We're going to go over the winners of the challenge. We're going to do a quick recap. We're going to do a quick Q&A session. Then we're going to wish everyone happy holidays. And then everyone, whether you won or you didn't win, everyone will have the opportunity to take advantage of this until Wednesday, which is Christmas Eve, midnight. And that's when we're going to close it up. Okay, guys? So this is Eric. I know I only came in the beginning at the end. That's because I have full faith in my partner, Lee. Tremendous job as always. This is like his 15th challenge. He's a challenge pro. Okay. Yes, I said right. Wednesday night. I wanna make sure that before, again, the holidays come in. That you take care. Before people start to get into real party mode, that you take advantage. And I know we have folks in our group here that from all different cultures, all different backgrounds. And I just want to say it very sincerely that we always try to keep things focused on making money. No, we try to keep things focused on how we could better our lives together through technology, through the tools that we have here. And that's what we all have in common, no matter our backgrounds, different holidays that we're all celebrating. All of us are all aligned in wanting each of us to do better financially, and we're all here to support each other. So we'll see you on Monday at noon. Do the video, submit it on WhatsApp, and then make sure you memorize www.10mtplus.com, and make sure you just look up your emails and get in before midnight on Christmas Eve. All right, guys. Thank you so much, Francis, Joe, everybody. It's been fantastic. Arthur, thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. Bye, everyone. Lee, I'm going to close it out, okay?
Yep. Okay.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks, Arthur. Appreciate you. Right back at you, buddy. Bye-bye.
All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Okay. Hey, welcome everyone.